In the last video, we learned about some of the gods and goddesses and how Wiccans can choose any pantheon or just believe in one god, depending on their ancestors or what rings more true to them. We talk about Hecate and how to work with deities also, and about the god and the goddess and their relationship to nature. Now let's learn about some of the main beliefs of Wicca. So witches live in a complex, beautiful, and multi-layered universe. We believe that there are several levels of reality superimposed and coexisting together, different worlds, planes, or parallel universes. These other worlds have names such as the astral plane or the shamanic underworld. Each has its own rules and its own inhabitants. For example, there are elementals, discarnate humans, fairy folk, guides, allies, guardian angels, animal spirits, plants, and others who are less familiar. Many witches visit these places and meet the entities who dwell there. We also believe that during dream state, you might be able to travel to some of these realms. If this seems like pure imagination or fantasy to you, it's because you haven't seen it. Then we will ask, when was the last time you saw a quark or gamma radiation, or for that matter, love or justice? Just because you can't see something or sense something with your standard senses doesn't mean it's not real. We also model the universe as formed of 5 basic elements: earth, fire, air, water, and spirit. Everything we know can be categorized as one of these first 4, and a spirit pervades all of them. Everything is energy in different forms or flavors, and everything is connected to everything else. Magic works by manipulating this energy to change things. Some people might call this the power of attraction. As we have seen, Wiccans tend to see the universe as entirely sacred. Even the bad parts are there for us to learn from, so we can avoid repeated pitfalls in our own spiritual growth. Witchcraft or Wicca has no single sacred text or Bible or Quran, but there is one text that most witches cherish. This is called the Church of the Goddess. The Church of the Goddess has become the closest thing to gospel that witches have. A version first appeared in Charles Leland's book, The Gospel of Aradia, which explored the history of Strega, or Italian witchcraft. Gardnerian priestess Doreen Valiente expanded it, and Starhawk has published a modernized version. I am not going to read it here because it's quite extensive, but it begins with these 3 paragraphs. Listen to the words of the Great Mother, who of all was called Danu, Freya, Gaia, Inanna, Isis, Kuan Yin, Pachamama, Tara, and by many other names. Though I am known by 1,000 names, the whole round world honors me. I'm the Queen of Heaven and Earth, Mistress of the world ocean, and ruler of the realms beyond death. And I say to you, whenever you have need of anything, and at least once each month, and best it under the open sky when the moon is full, you shall gather and adore the spirit of me, the Queen of all wise. You shall be free from slavery, and as a sign that you are truly free, you may be naked in your rights. Let me worship be in the heart that rejoices, sing, feast, dance, make music, and love all in my presence. For all acts of love and pleasure are my rituals and my gift of joy on earth, etc. As you can see, the names by the Church of the Goddess were from all different cultures. We got the Egyptian Isis, Celtic Danu, Norse Freya, Chinese Kuan Yin, South American Pachamama, Middle Eastern Inanna, Greek Gaia, and Druid Tara. What are other principles of witchcraft? The Council of American Witches was a short-lived group, only active in the mid-1970s, but in their 1974 statement still holds true today. The principles of Wiccan belief are a good summary of most witches' beliefs and practices. Principles of Wiccan belief. We practice rites to attune ourselves with the natural rhythm of life forces, marked by the phases of the moon and the seasonal quarters and cross quarters. We recognize that our intelligence gives us a unique responsibility toward our environment. We seek to live in harmony with nature, in ecological balance, offering fulfillment to life and consciousness within an evolutionary concept. We acknowledge a depth of power far greater than the apparent to the average person. Because it is far greater than ordinary, it is sometimes called supernatural, but we see it as lying within that which is natural potential at all. We conceive of the creative power of the universe as manifesting through polarity, a masculine and feminine, and that this same creative power lies in all people and functions through the interaction of the masculine and feminine. We value neither above the other, knowing each other to be supportive of the other. We value sex as pleasure, as the simple embodiment of life, and as one of the sources of energies used in magical practice and religious worship. We recognize both outer and inner, of psychological worlds, sometimes known as the spiritual world, the collective unconscious, inner planes, etc. And we see the interaction of these two dimensions, the basis for paranormal phenomena and magical exercises. We neglect neither dimension for the other, seeing both as necessary for our fulfillment. Later on we will learn that there are indeed necromancers, or people that can walk into what we call dream walkers or shadow walkers. We don't recognize any authoritarian hierarchy, but do honor those who teach, respect those who share their greater knowledge and wisdom, and acknowledge those who have courageously given of themselves in leadership. We see religion, magic, and wisdom and living as being united in the way of one views the world and lives within it. Calling oneself witch does not make a witch, but neither does heredity itself, nor the collecting of title, degrees, and initiations. A witch seeks to control the forces within herself and himself that make life possible in order to live wisely and well without harm to others and in harmony with nature. We believe in the affirmation and fulfillment of life, in a continuation of evolution and development of consciousness that gives meaning to the universe we know and our personal role within it. Our only animosity toward Christianity or toward any other religion or philosophy of life is to the extent that its institutions have claimed to be the only way, and have sought to deny freedom to others and to suppress other ways of religious practice and belief. As American witches, we are not threatened by debates on the history of the craft, the origins of various terms, the origins of various aspects of different traditions. We are concerned with our present and our future. We do not accept the concept of absolute evil, nor do we worship, please be careful, any entity known as Satan or the devil. Let me repeat that again. We do not accept the concept of absolute evil, nor do we worship any entity known as Satan or the devil, as defined by Christian tradition. We do not seek power through the suffering of others, nor we accept that personal benefit can be derived only by denial to another. We believe that we should seek within nature that which is contributory to our health and well-being. From the Council of the American Witches in 1974. Due to the efforts of the Council's chairman, Carl WICCA, these principles were later incorporated into the Chaplain's Handbook for use in the U.S. Army. We will learn about the witch's value in the next video.